Thanks for staying with us on Channels Television. Welcome to the news at 5. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. The corruption trial of former Nigerian Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison-Maduekwe continued in London today, with jurors hearing fresh testimonies about millions of pounds allegedly spent on luxury property refurbishments. Proceedings at the Southwark Crown Court shifted focus to a construction contractor linked to high-end London homes, as prosecutors worked to trace what they describe as a wider financial trail of benefits flowing through intermediaries. Our London correspondent, Julana Olainka, has the latest.
Today's hearing at Southwark Crown Court shifted focus to another prosecution witness, a refurbishment contractor whose company carried out work on a string of high-end London properties allegedly linked to former Nigerian Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison-Maduekwe. The court heard that millions of pounds moved through his business between 2012 and 2014 for luxury refurbishments, with the witness confirming he met Alison-Maduekwe and businessman Kwara several times during that period. Prosecutors say the evidence adds to what they describe as a wider pattern of luxury benefits flowing through intermediaries. The defence disputes that, maintaining Alison-Maduekwe had limited authority and denies any wrongdoing. Proceedings were adjourned early today, with the trial continuing as prosecutors build their financial trail. Juliana Olayinka reporting for Channels Television News at Southwark Crown Court.
Back in Nigeria, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has asked the National Assembly to expedite action on the amendment of the Electoral Act. The INEC chairman, Professor Josh Ambokweton, made this known during a consultative meeting with members of civil society organizations at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. The aim of the meeting is to brief the CSOs about the Commission's preparations for the FCT Area Council elections, as well as the Ekiti governorship elections set to take place in July this year. He stated that while the Commission has finalized the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2027 general elections, it cannot release them yet due to the National Assembly's ongoing amendments to the electoral law. At least 40 people have been killed by terrorists in Woro and Nuku communities in Kayama local government area of Kwara State. Several houses were also reportedly burnt by the hoodlums. According to a local source, the terrorists arrived to preach to residents in both communities. However, dissenting voices among the crowd reportedly prompted the bandits to open fire on the congregation. The eyewitness also said that a troop of soldiers and forest guards have been deployed to the two communities to ensure safety of the residents. In the meantime, the state government has condemned the attack and has commiserated with the families of the victims. A suspected armed bandits attacked police personnel and killed four residents in a bandit community of Kwande local government area of Benue State. This is according to the State Police Command, which said that on February the 3rd, the Divisional Police Officer Jatuaka received a distress call that suspected armed bandits had attacked police personnel stationed at the Abande community as well as the residents. It adds that during the ensuing confrontation, one assistant superintendent of police attached to the 13 police mobile force in Makadi, who was on special duty at Abande community, was fatally injured during the attack. Following the incident, combined teams of police operatives and other security agencies have been mobilized to the area to help secure the community, conduct a thorough search, and forestall further breakdown of law and order. The Emir of Kano, His Royal Highness Muhammadu Sanusi II, has said traditional institutions do not need roles in the Constitution. He made this position known on our breakfast program, The Morning Brief. According to the Emir, the people make the existence of traditional institutions relevant.
Personally, I don't even support this whole move of putting us in the Constitution. You see, look, we already have a National Council of Traditional Rulers. When you begin to legislate these things, you remove that level of flexibility. Okay, because I said culture is dynamic. The relevance we have does not stem from the Constitution. To be honest, if politicians had their way, there would be no emirs. There'll be no obese, honestly. Okay? The reason we exist is because the people want us and people respect us. And so long as we remain committed to our people, so long as we remain interested in their welfare, so long as they see that we are concerned about them, okay with them, we'll remain relevant.
Sticking to this position, the Emir of Shonga in Kwara State, His Royal Highness Halirun Danusa, has called for the protection of traditional institutions.
The position he has is my position. But unfortunately, the movement is in a different direction. The movement is to institutionalize it, more to protect it. Because now it's just free fall. Anything can happen anywhere. Kano is an example. But if you streamline what things can happen, what can't happen. That's the major part of it all. Then number two, if you don't put them in the constitution, they say you have no right to give them money. So these are issues that have. But most people are moving towards the direction of have us in the constitution. We have a rule, but most people say we know our rules. It's defined by us being there and by the people themselves. So these are the two views. But unfortunately, the tide has moved down towards the constitution.
Also speaking on our breakfast program, the Obi of Onitsha, His Royal Majesty Igwe Nemeka Achebe, believes there is no threat to the power and influence of traditional rulers in the ever-evolving modern world. The Obi of Onitsha sees the need to adopt technology in propagating culture and tradition.
We don't see conflict between modernization and our culture and tradition. So what you've done, and successfully, is to adopt technology, in our traditional governance. You don't forget your culture because your parents inculcate it in you. Yeah. Your language, your food, your dress, your mannerism, your attitude to elders, and your attitude to children also. And education, of course, is the best mechanism to actually build bridges between culture or the tradition and modernism. Okay, based on my understanding of my tradition and culture and my Christian background, I've been able to convince our religious leaders that there's no irreconcilable difference between our tradition and religion.
The federal government is strengthening its healthcare system with a new partnership to expand cancer care, cardiology and diagnostic services. Now, the partnership involves the International Finance Corporation, IFC, the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, and the private sector. Now, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, says the partnership will strengthen the nation's healthcare system, improve access to quality care, and making it more affordable.
Government officials and members of development finance institutions are converging to discuss the latest federal government collaboration in cancer and cardiology care. The meeting is building on the success of previous interventions to improve access for cancer patients.
Medical tourism by half has gone down, but also others are really coming for medical tourism in Nigeria. Despite all what you may hear on the quality side, things are actually getting better. And of course, the clinical governance and patient safety is a core priority we're driving.
Everything that needs to be said about the importance of the health sector as an economic engine. And then you put alongside it the various derivatives that can help grow the GDP. And you have an important driver of the new economy in Nigeria.
Under this partnership, the International Finance Corporation and the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority are partnering with the private sector to create 1,700 jobs and train 500 specialized medical professionals to address the growing burden of non-communicable diseases.
I'm very proud to say that what started off as one oncology center in Lagos and 2 diagnostic centers in Kano and Umuahia, by the end of the second quarter of this year, will become 4 oncology centers and 15 diagnostic centers across the country. And that would be impossible without the strong partnership of the World Bank and the IFC.
Bringing quality health care closer to people, earlier, more affordably, and more equitably. It reflects our shared belief that access to care should not depend on where you live or how much you earn.
The partners put pen to paper to seal the two memorandums of understanding. The first is to improve cancer care, and the second is to deliver transformational health infrastructure across the country. The partners are hoping that the agreements will make health care more equitable, as the International Finance Corporation plans to invest $24 million under the partnership. Sarah Chimugu, Channels Television News.
Ahead of the 2027 general elections, the National Councillors Forum of Nigeria has formally declared its support for President Bola Tinubu's re-election in 2027, citing the restoration of local government autonomy as a landmark achievement for grassroots development. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the forum describes the current administration's policies as transformational, noting that the Renewed Hope agenda is now a living reality in rural communities across the Federation. The forum, which is made up of serving and former councillors, stressed that as the closest arm of government to the people, councillors understand the aspirations of citizens and see the direct impact of the president's strategic reforms.
Since the assumption of office by His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, GCFR, Nigeria has witnessed bold, courageous and forward-looking leadership. Under his administration, we have seen the restoration of local government autonomy, improved funding and accountability at the grassroots, renewed focus on rural development, especially on social investment programs, major investment in infrastructure and security, strategic reform in agriculture and economic management. These policies are mere promises, are not mere promises. They are realities that are transforming life in our communities. The Renewed Hope agenda is no longer a slogan. It is a life, it is a reality. Testimony in towns, villages, and wards across Nigeria.
When we come back after the break, S&P Global says government securities dominate 11% of Nigerian banks' assets. That's on Business News. Join us again. Welcome back. There was jubilation in Omadino, a Warri South local government area of Delta State, as Governor Sheriff Oborevwori commissioned the Model Technical College, a project the state government says is designed to equip young people with practical skills to help tackle youth unemployment. The governor says the facility reflects his administration's focus on technical and vocational education under the MORE agenda.
It's a colorful and well-attended ceremony in Omadino as Governor Sheriff Oborevwori arrives to a warm reception by traditional rulers, youths and residents of the host community. He's here to inaugurate the new Omadino Model Technical College. Several dignitaries are in attendance, including the Deputy Governor, Monday Onyeme, Speakers of the House of Assemblies in Delta, Edo, Bayelsa and Anambra states, members of the State Executive Council, National and State Assembly members, local government officials and the Olu of Warri, Ogiame Atuashe III. The Warri King appreciates the governor for the good work he is doing and urges him to sustain investments in riverine communities, especially in the area of infrastructure and education.
Your Excellency, I want to encourage you. Do more. I want to speak on behalf of everyone who calls the riverine area their home. I know, Your Excellency, you may know already that the title of Yemen literally translates to King of Water. I am not speaking on behalf of them as their overlord. I'm just speaking on behalf of them as water people. Your Excellency, this state, I believe a third of the state is riverine. As much as the land has seen your hand, Your Excellency, like Oliver Twist, people of the riverine area, we want to see more of this, Your Excellency.
Direct beneficiaries of the school are also grateful for the project, which they believe marks a turning point for young people in the area.
Everything here tells a story of excellence, purpose, and a future filled with possibilities. For this, Your Excellency, we the students say thank you from the depths of our hearts. To our Deputy Governor, Sam Monday Onyeme, your constant support for educational development inspires us. To our royal fathers and good people of Omanida community, thank you for your support and your belief in education as a key to development.
Technical and vocational education are seen as practical pathways to reduce unemployment, and Governor Sheriff Oberewori pledges the government's commitment to ensure quality education in the state.
Technical and vocational education remains a vital key to tackling the problems of youth unemployment in our country. It is crucial to unlocking and unleashing youth entrepreneurship, with the focus on practical skills acquisition and industry-relevant training. Product of this institution will not find themselves roaming the streets in search of non-existent jobs. Instead, they will function as work and job creators, in addition to possessing employability skills. With the high-quality facility we have put in place, I am confident that students of this college will have the capacity to compete with the best anywhere in the world.
With modern classrooms, fully equipped workshops, hostels and support facilities now in place, Omadino Model Technical College is expected to serve as a hub for technical skills development and a boost to youth empowerment in Delta State.
Welcome to Business News. Government securities account for about 11% of Nigerian banks' total assets, underscoring lenders' strong exposure to sovereign debt. And this is according to S&P Global. The ratings agency says Nigerian banks continue to favor treasury bills and bonds because they offer relatively attractive yields and lower credit risk compared with private sector lending, especially amid macroeconomic uncertainty and elevated interest rates. S&P Global adds that the preference for government instruments helps banks preserve asset quality and manage liquidity, but it also limits credit flow to the real economy. The agency also adds that higher returns on risk-free government paper reduce incentives for banks to expand lending to businesses and households. The federal government is set to digitalize the fish import permit process as part of efforts to improve efficiency, transparency, and the ease of doing business in the sector. Officials say the move will replace the largely manual application system with an online platform that will allow importers to apply for, process, and track permits electronically. The initiative is expected to cut processing time, reduce human contact, and minimize delays at the ports. The government adds that digitalization would also enhance regulatory oversight, improve data collection, and even curb sharp practices associated with fish importation. And the system will integrate relevant agencies to ensure smoother clearance procedures and better compliance monitoring. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, projects that Nigeria will overtake Algeria as Africa's third largest economy in 2026, fueled by strong growth in oil, services and industry. According to the IMF's latest economic outlook, Nigeria's GDP is expected to grow steadily, outpacing Algeria's as the country benefits from higher crude oil production, reforms to boost business activity, and a gradually improving investment climate. The fund notes that Nigeria's expanding population and consumption, coupled with government policies to diversify the economy, will further support its economic rise. Cassava production in Nigeria continues to face significant hurdles, including pests and diseases such as mosaic disease and bacterial blight, low-yield traditional farming methods, insufficient processing infrastructure, and post-harvest losses due to poor storage. Speaking on the issue, the MD/CEO of Matna Food Company Limited, Mr. Sheyi Ayeleso, emphasized that Nigeria must reduce its dependence on imported cassava. He stressed that boosting local production could strengthen the country's economy and contribute significantly to GDP growth.
Nigeria is the biggest producer of cassava in the world, and we are producing about 60 metric tons annually. And these have not really been converted into processing, okay, and for us to begin to use and also satisfy both industrial use and also for the consumers. Now, today, Nigeria imports over $600 million of cassava into the country, and that will not help the economy. And that is why Agbewa has come and some other processors in the country to come together. We have an umbrella called Industrial Cassava Association of Nigeria, where we talk, Stakeholder Association of Nigeria, where we talk about how do we now begin to improve and entrench the use of cassava starch and we want to reduce dependency on importation, because we continue to rely on importation. $600 million annually is going to affect our GDP. But we want to get it to the point that we'll be affecting our GDP positively by ensuring that we actually participate and be a major player in the cassava value chain, especially processing, from cultivation to processing, and also to the market. Even we begin to apart from the fact that we'll be satisfying those industrial users, the likes of Cadbury, Nestle, Puma, Sidon, and the rest, will also be exporting, therefore enhancing our GDP.
And that's the news at 5. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. The World Today is up next.